There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? Sport Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG, gifting a gift. I have some amazing people in front of me right now. We're going to have an amazing episode. Are you ready to get it? King Josh and Queen Ari.
Yes, yay.
Hey, so happy.
And Ari, by the way, I'm saying your name right, Ari?
Yeah, you got it right. You're great.
Yes. All right, guys. We're so excited to have you on the show today and looking forward to hearing your story of how you've got to doing the things that you're doing right now in the community of Dallas, Texas. Can you go into your story a little bit more for the audience?
So I've been an ordained minister, Josh here, for 10 years and have been doing youth work for basically the entirety of that time. Some semblance of youth and college ministry. Found this organization, Mercy Street, while I was working at another organization that was very similar to it in College Station. It's an organization that does mentorship on a lot of different levels through sports, through one-on-one or group mentoring, and also through high school leadership. And so found this ministry and found it to be a great home to continue to do the work that I love to do.
So I grew up and had a father who was a fundraiser and always worked for different nonprofits. And I knew from a really young age that I wanted to be in the nonprofit world and I wanted my job to be serving others. And I didn't know what capacity or what that was going to look like exactly, but knew that's what I wanted to do. Out of college, I was working at a Christian nonprofit doing marketing. And I was like, I really don't love doing marketing. And I was friends with Josh, actually, just outside of like work and stuff. And he told me about that they were hiring kind of a counterpart for his position. And I was like, oh my gosh, what you're doing sounds amazing. I had worked at Pine Cove in college as a camp counselor with high schoolers. And I knew I was really passionate about high school students. And, so I applied and got the job, and the rest is history. Now we're getting to do life with high school students constantly in a lot of really cool ways.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh and Ari, for diving deeper on your passion. I can tell you guys are radiating energy. I know there's something that you're passionate about and just how you gain clarity, focus, and consistency in your calling, in your lane. So again, I know I shared this off recording, but thank you so much for what you're doing for our next generation and helping them become stronger versions of themselves by building a Christ-centered mindset through mentorship. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about Mercy Street and that whole passion. Now, when you hear Mercy Street, what does that mean to you personally for both of you?
Yeah, so for me, like I said, I got an opportunity to hear about Mercy Street while I was working at another organization that did very similar things in the Bryan College Station area. So I'll tell you two things. One, what I kind of initially heard when I heard the name, and then kind of what it's grown to mean to me as well. But, when I initially heard the name, I was like, oh, what a cool name to kind of talk about how God has mercy in an urban center and an urban space, and how despite all the difficulties and ways that this community has been intentionally boxed out from resources, how God is still going to have mercy on this area, on this space, and use his spirit and use his people to bring flourishing to this area. So that was my initial kind of thought when I heard the name. And then, as I've gotten to be here, one of the things that comes to mind is the next generation. I used to wonder when I first became a minister a while back, like, how could I do as much fruitful work for the kingdom as possible? And I saw a lot of pastors go on to, make big mega churches or write really big books and things like that. And I was like, you know what? I think some of those could be really helpful. But I also think my best strategic move would be to find the kids that are coming up and to pour into them and to spend my life pouring and developing into them and kind of creating the next generation. I heard Tupac say one time, he was like, man, I may not be the revolutionary, but I want to inspire the next revolutionary. And so that kind of became my strategic strategy. And that's kind of what Mercy Street kind of means to me at this point.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, Josh.
So Mercy Street, when I hear those two words, it has come to be like, when I think of it, is a really safe space. We are right in between two high schools. So literally right in between two high schools. When they get out, we have kids constantly walking past, and it's become a really special place where I see just kids constantly coming in, and they always come find Josh or I, or they'll find another adult who works here. And it's just, I think they come here and they get to like have a big sister, big brother who's hanging out with them. They get to have like an influence in their life, and they get to come and find resources, learn more, just a safe place. And it's been a safe place for me as well. And so when I hear the words Mercy Street, I feel it's just a safe space for anyone who's involved in the organization, just to come and be and learn and grow. And that's not just the students we serve, that's the employees as well.
Man, dropping gems. That's such key concepts and thoughts. Creating that safe space for our next generation. And one of my favorite things is be who you needed when you was younger. So I know you guys are really stepping into that, being a vessel for our next generation to grow into what God is calling them to do, and directing them on the right path and helping them make good decision making. So, man, that's really good stuff. Really good stuff. And thinking about decision making. So on this show, it's constantly mentioned we're all gifted differently to make a difference. You know, we provide tips and techniques for our young people as they strive to grow in personal development. And when you hear decision making in general, is there a tip or technique that you can give that young mind that's listening right now? We also have, parents, coaches, and teachers who are gravitating and taking this information to apply to help grow the young people that's in their lane. So as far as the decision making, helping someone who's a young adult make good decisions, what comes to mind as far as a tip or technique to provide for them?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So when I think decision making, the word that immediately comes to my mind is wisdom, skilled living, right? Applied skilled living. And we recently just had a conversation with we were walking through the book of Matthew and kind of getting to Matthew 7, where Jesus gives kind of a couple paths that people can walk down, and he kind of leans a little bit on some of the proverbial statements in the Old Testament. And so it brought to mind like this idea of like, when it comes to decision making and wisdom, there are a couple of ways to look at it for me. And this is what I tell the kids as well, is like, there are kind of like the book of Proverbs, where there are decisions you can make that lead to flourishing, that just the world is designed a certain way, designed by God's wisdom, where if you make particular decisions, it can lead to you flourishing as a human being. But then there's also just the reality that like life also just doesn't work out the way that it should, because the world is broken. And so a lot of times wisdom is just trusting in God, like Job. Job did all the right things, and yet there were external factors that still hit, that he had no idea about, things that were happening in the heavenly places and that he couldn't control. But ultimately, he was faithful. And because of that, even despite the things that happened to him, God restored him and really was still sovereign. And things that we want to make sure that they know is that the reality is you can make wise decisions, and you should make wise decisions that are going to help you flourish. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens in your life, God is still looking out for you. God is still championing you, loving you, still going to guide you toward human flourishing, irregardless of any of the hurdles that come your way.
Dude, amazing answer. That is beautiful. Wisdom. What about you, Ari? What comes to mind?
So we've been having this conversation lately of, say I have only seen people in my life go and work, at a fast food place, or go and do this job or do this job. And I've never seen anyone go and work at a tech place or work at some really like cool job that I had no idea existed, be a doctor. And then all of a sudden, when I'm seeing that I can achieve these things, it becomes more real. And I think that's a very similar in decision making. If I'm, surrounded by people who are making these same decisions, as we get out of that rut and seeing people who are making different decisions, that can like show us, hey, I can make good decisions too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think so many times back to when I had like mentors in my life who I looked up to, and I saw them in a certain circumstances making these decisions. And I was like, I admire you. I want to be like you. And you have like modeled that to me. And so I can see it, and it's attainable, and it's something that I can do. We open up our mind to all these different, like, not just wearing the blinders and seeing what we've always seen, but seeing like different options, different opportunities, and then getting to make decisions in that way, and it's when we're not just looking for the next hour and making our decisions, but when we're looking like big picture minded, and
that vision and
And then when we're talking to our students, and we're talking about big picture things, and we're talking about future, and we're hoping that and it's a reminder I have every day too, to make decisions, and like not just for what is great right now, or what do I think is going to be good in an hour, but like what's a decision that I'm going to make that's going to be good in a month, in a year, 5 years from now. And so I think that's something that we're all constantly learning.
Dude, you guys are dropping some major gems, like Randy Savage off the top rope, elbow, boom. So I know whoever's listening right now, there's some massive value that's being installed. I've heard big picture vision, modeling wisdom. And I love that modeling part, getting around people that are ahead of you, that's a little more seasonal, that can help get you to where you need to be. And I know that's what y'all doing at Mercy Street. And there's somebody's listening right now who's like, I want to know more of how I can support this ministry. I want to know what else is going on moving through 2022, this ministry, what their big things that we can be praying for. A little bit more about some of the programs that you do offer for our young people. Can you share your contact information? And again, ways that we can be praying for you, ways that can be supporting some of your programs.
So you can find us on the Mercy Street website. It's just mercystreet.org, I'm pretty sure.
mercystreetdallas.org.
There it is, mercystreetdallas.org. So you can just look up on the website ways that you can support and donate. Our emails are, my email is joshua@mercystreetdallas.org.
Mine is Ari@mercystreetdallas.org, and that's ARI.
Yep. So we don't make it complicated. But I think one of the ways that people can be praying for us is, we're gearing up to get into the summer, and, we make all the plans, and we have all the structure that we're trying to figure out. But at the end of the day, it's the Lord that brings fruit, and it's the Lord that evolves and develops these kids. Really, we just get to be instruments of it for the summer. And so we just really pray that the Spirit moves, the Spirit moves in a special way. And, if you are in the West or South Dallas area and you're a high school student and you want to be a part of something special, or if you're a parent of a high school student and you want your kids to be a part of something special, we would love to have you. We would love to have you as an intern this summer. We have a paid internship during the summer for high school so that we can teach theological and also college workforce readiness, practical life skills. And so, if you're a high schooler in the West or South Dallas area, and or a parent of a high schooler in the West or South Dallas area, please look us up on Mercy Street at dallas.org website and apply. And we'd love to have you.
We also, just a little bit about Mercy Street. It is a mentoring or nonprofit Christian organization, and we have 3 different aspects of that. So we have one-on-one mentoring. We start in 4th grade, and so people will get involved, and they'll get matched, a mentor and a mentee, and the goal is that those people are in each other's lives forever, and it's just another adult who gets to be an influence. And so then we also have sports. We have this awesome field and complex here in West Dallas, and so we are constantly having sports and people out there playing. So we need volunteer coaches. If you live in West or South Dallas and your kid wants to join a sport, or you want to play a sport, come find us at Mercy Street. And then Josh and I specifically are over leadership, which is our high school ministry, doing what Josh said in the summer and throughout the year. And so we're always looking for volunteers. So also, if you're in the West or South Dallas area, or if you don't mind driving over there, come join us.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you again so much for blessing this artist with your time and your presence. This has been an amazing episode. And those who are listening right now, please drop in the comments, whatever social media platform you're listening to this on, podcast platform, of an application point that you're going to take the daily challenge on implementing in your life as you strive to become a stronger version of yourself led by God. And I love ending with this quote, and you guys are some giants, and I know others are going to see further because they're standing on your shoulder, standing on Mercy Street's shoulder, because you're standing on even bigger shoulders by being Christ followers. So super respect what you're doing. And again, really appreciate you guys coming on and shining your light on GNG podcast.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and lead this out. I told each and every one of you this was going to be an amazing episode. Mercy Street is in the building. Again, let us know how we can serve you, add value to you. Check out this amazing ministry. Plug in any way you can. I know you're praying out there. I want you to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. I want you to do two things for me, family. Keep that crown on your heart. And please remember this. We are God's echo. I love each and every one of you. Peace.
There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.